Okay, good afternoon, students. I thought this is very important that I do this video tape for you because this project is required for Principles of Accounting 2. The ratio analysis project, I already sent you the template. I emailed you the template, and if you check your email, you will see that template. If you don't see it, please email me and let me know that you don't have it so I can email it to you back. The first thing you need to do is to go online, pick a company of your choice. Pick a company of your choice and go online and just type, for example, Microsoft annual report. Okay, Microsoft annual report. And then the annual report will come out. Just make sure it is, right now we are in 2021. Just make sure the report is not more than 3 years old. Okay, and once you get into the report, go to the financial statements section. Okay, go to the financial statement section, and in that, print the income statement and the balance sheet. Okay, print the income statement and the balance sheet, and that's what we need for this project. Number one, go online, look for the annual report of a company of your choice. Make sure the annual report is not more than 3 years old. And in the annual report itself, look for the financial statements. Okay, print the income statement and the balance sheet. Okay, and from those, you're going to do your ratio analysis project. Okay. Okay. The first thing, oops, just 1 second. Let me get my report. Okay, I had the PowerPoint presentations ready. I was going to see you. Oh, here's coming out. Okay. And I need the template. I don't know, how did it go out? Template. Ratio analysis. Okay. The first slide, okay, it's all of it is a 7 slide. Okay, it's all 7 slides. The first slide is you're going to identify like that. The first slide, okay, is going to be the title, and instead of summer 2, you're going to say spring 2021 ratio analysis project, the name of the company of your choice, and presented by your name. Okay, that's the first slide. Okay, the second slide, somehow is not, this thing is not cooperating with me. Okay, just be patient with me until I get it. Okay, here's one more. I hope I don't lose it this time. That's the first slide. The second slide is going to be, you got to give introduction. Okay, the second slide, you're going to give an introduction, okay, about the company that you are choosing and why you chose this company. Okay, you all see that, the introduction and then why you chose the company. The third slide is going to be a very short video. The third slide, we're going to evaluate liquidity. Liquidity means what? The ability of a business to meet its short-term obligations. The ability of the business to meet its short-term obligations. So you define it. See, I said I put the word define. Okay, please don't leave the word define when you do the project. Don't use the word define. Just come straight forward and define it. Define current ratio. Okay, and then I wrote to you current ratio is equal current assets over current liabilities. You just need to plug in the numbers from the financial statements that you printed. Okay, just plug in the numbers, and then you have a quick ratio. You define it, and then I wrote the formula for you. Just plug in the number, current assets minus inventory divided by current liabilities. Just plug in the numbers, okay? The next slide is profitability. Okay, the next slide is profitability. And like what says here, define profitability. And then profit margin ratio. You define profit margin ratio. And I wrote the formula for you is net income divided by net revenue. Okay, your net revenues are going to be your sales. And so plug in the numbers. Okay, and the next ratio is return on asset ratios. Okay, and just follow what I wrote for you here. Follow what I wrote for you. You're going to be fine. Plug in, define and plug in the numbers. Define and plug in the numbers and get the results. And once you finish with the ratios, please elaborate on overall profitability. Like the previous slide, elaborate on the liquidity in that specific business, okay? And this thing, the same thing, once you plug in the numbers and find the ratios, elaborate on profitability in general. You can say, you can tell us what is the profitability, the ability of the business to make profit. Just 1 second. Okay, but that's not gonna stop. The next slide is trying to make long-term solvency. The next slide is long-term solvency. Define long-term solvency, and then find debt to equity ratio, and then plug in the numbers. I wrote the ratio for you, and you plug in the numbers. All of these numbers are going to be from the financial income statement and balance sheet that you printed, okay? And then interest coverage ratio, the same thing, define. And I wrote down the formula for you. You just need to plug in the numbers, okay? And once you're done with the numbers, just elaborate on the long-term solvency. Okay, tell the ability of the business to survive, pay off its debt, and serve. Is this business able or in a good position to pay its dues, long-term dues, and survive on the long run? Okay. All right. The next slide is market strength ratio. Okay. The next slide is market strength ratio, and define. So we define market strength ratio, and then I gave you the ratio. Okay, market. You got to find the price earning ratio. Define. Okay, market price. You're gonna find market price, and you find that from online. Just search anywhere. If I want to say, if I chose IBM, for example, I go online and say, I look for the market price per share, the current market price per share. I divide it by earnings per share. Earning per share, okay, you can find that in the income statement in the bottom, okay, of the printout that you made. And then you elaborate if this business is favorable in the market and has good market value and so on, okay? The last slide is a conclusion. Okay, the last slide is a conclusion. What is the current market price per share? The overall state of the company, talk about that. And do you recommend investing within that company? Okay, so this is a short-term video made up of for short presentation, 7 slides, as I mentioned on the. I gave you what to do, the template. I emailed it to you, and as you see in the slides, you define the term, plug in the number, the formula is there, plug in the numbers, and then make a comment on the overall liquidity, profitability, long-term solvency, market strength, all of those. And then the final slide is the conclusion. Okay, and that's end of this chapter, and I hope I gave you a good idea of this simple ratio analysis project. Okay, and is required for the class. All right, and have a good day, everyone. And I'm going to stop recording. As you can see, it's a very short video. And end stream. End. Okay.